just want to use the time to say thank you to the Lutheran Church for organizing this all-important program. It's indeed a success story. Distinguished panelists, security sector police, which include members of the armed forces of Liberia present, the clergy, civil society leaders, development partners, members of the trauma, healing, and reconciliation programs, fellow Liberians. My name is Anthony Allo, First Lieutenant Francis A. Wissel, Deputy Judge, Advocate General of the Armed Forces of Liberia. So I bring to deliver a paper to this forum. Thank you so much. It is an honor to present a paper to this Access to Justice Conference under the theme Liberty and Justice for All. The theme is aspirational. It speaks to the very heart of our country joining from conflict to stability, and from fragility to institutional renewal. In Liberia, justice through the legal principle is the lifeline of peace, the anchor of stability, and the foundations upon which the national trust is built. Today, I present on the theme a force for good, the role of the armed forces of Liberia in promoting access to justice. While my focus is the EFL, the message is broader. Justice is the product of a coordinated ecosystem. It involves the Liberia National Police, the LBEA, the Liberia Immigration Service, the NSA, the Liberia National Fire Service, community leaders, practitioners, authorities, and the vibrant voice of civil society. No single institution can carry this responsibility alone. Access to justice is everyday experience of citizens in their interactions with state actors. It means protection from unlawful violence, equal treatment, irrespective of tribe, gender, religion, or political identity. It means that grievances are addressed fairly and timely, that arrest, investigation, and detention follows the law, and that states' power protects, not threaten, their citizens. In essence, access to justice is about trust. When citizens trust the system, they cooperate with it. When they distrust it, they retreat in silence. Self-help, mob violence. The truth is the currency of national security. The area of identity is discipline, professionalism, and right-based service. The armed forces of the world stands justice begins with discipline and professionalism. As George Washington, the first commander-in-chief of the United States Army, reminded the world, quote, "Discipline is the soul of an army," unquote. It is discipline that shows military powers is exercised with restraint, respect for rights, and responsibility to the state and its people. Since the reconstruction of the Armed Forces of Liberia in 2006, our institution has operated on civil oversight, apolitical service, human rights compliances, and a commitment to the constitutional order. These principles shape how we, the AFL recruits, how we train, how we deploy, and hold ourselves accountable. So how the AFL promote access to justice? First, the AFL protects civilians during national events and emergency, during election, disasters, or civil disturbance. Our posture remains defensive, right-based, and people-centered. Our presence reassures civilians and allows the democratic process to unfold peacefully. Second, the AFL contributes to national justice through humanitarian support, medical outreach, engineering work, road rehabilitation, natural disasters response, and community projects. When communities see soldiers helping them, not intimidating them, justice becomes real. Third, the AFL support sister security agency with clear legal boundaries. Joint operations with the Liberia National Police, the DEA, the immigration, etc., are conducted with strict adherence to rules of engagement and protections for suspects' rights. Four, we maintain a credible system of internal accountability. A soldier who violates the law faces consequences because no soldier in uniform is above the law. Accountability is the key ingredient of justice. And I would love to repeat this again. We maintain a credible system of internal accountability. A soldier who violates the law faces consequences. Because no soldier in uniform is above the law. And accountability is a key ingredient of justice. 5. The AFL participation in international peace conference or peacekeeping missions, especially in Mali, has strengthened our culture of discipline, human rights compliances, and precisions in operations. These lessons return improve our domestic posture. Liberia still faces persistent challenge. They include limited access to justice in rural areas, rising mob violence and self-justice, escalating drugs abuse and prolonged crime, like the DA was stated earlier. Logistic and mobility constraints, gaps in interagency coordination. These challenges create a justice vacuum. Failing that vacuum requires every security actors, every community leaders, every citizens strengthening the justice-oriented security environment. Going forward, the area along with other apparatus need to expand civil military engagement to enhance trust, deepening human rights training across units, strengthening joint operational protocol with sister agencies, improve border stability through collaborations with immigration and other security actors. As for the area, our vision remains clear: a force that protects, unite, and strengthen justice. As General Douglas MacArthur, the first president of the United States and Commander-in-Chief of the U.S. Army, once said, quote, "The soldier above all pray for peace, for it is the soldier who must suffer and bear the deep scars of war," unquote. This reminder reinforces why justice must guide all military actions. Peace without justice is fragile, and justice without security is impossible. Our duty is to safeguard both. In conclusion, the area stands firm as a guardian of national security, a partner in the pursuance of justice from border towns to urban centers. Our commitment is unwavering to defend the Constitution, protect human dignity, and support sister agencies in ensuring justice for all. As we reflect on these terms, let our actions, not our speech, be the measures of our commitment. Justice must be respected by the law, demanded as citizens, and defended by the armed forces of Liberia. The armed forces of Liberia remain a force for good, steadfast in building a civil, fairer, and more justice Liberia. I thank you.
First Lieutenant of the Armed Forces of Liberia, speaking on behalf of his
wow.
Major General.
You heard the Parliament speaking?
Chief of Staff of the Armed
Please
Forces.
give it out again for thank you. The AFL remains the force of good to defend this republic. Thank you. Thank you, Anthony Wiese. Please have your seats. We are almost there. We are almost there. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, I have the pleasure and the honor to present the Assistant Minister for Rehabilitation. He's the Assistant Minister, let me get it right, Assistant Minister for Rehabilitation, Bureau of Correction, Ministry of Justice, Anthony Honorable Gabriel F. Nobla. The Minister will be talking to us on prolonged pretrial detention, the causes and the effects on the Liberian justice system. Honorable Minister, your people, your minister.
Thank you, Reverend. Please have your seat. Please have your seat. We want to commend our engagement by extending appreciation to the Lutheran Church in Liberia for and on behalf of the Ministry of Justice. Quite recently, the Lutheran Church in Liberia, through a program run by Reverend Lucien, launched a yoga and counseling intervention at Liberia Central Prison with more than 45 inmates as beneficiaries. We are very grateful really to you in the church for all that you continue to do and to form part of your engagement or partners in what you do. I also bring you greetings from my boss, Councillor N. Oswald Twelve, who is the Minister of Justice, the Attorney General of Liberia, and the Supervisor of Corrections consistent with law. We are glad that we are here just as we were here last year, September. In September last year, I was asked to speak on praising overcrowding. Today, we are asked to talk on prolonged pre-trial detention. So for 20 minutes, more or less, permit me to give our perspective on the assigned topic, prolonged pre-trial detention, causes and effects on Liberia's justice system. Corrections Officer Gwendolyn Ojo will assist me with the timekeeping. As the statistician, in 20 minutes you watch your clock, and just within 5 minutes you let me know. Thank you. What we want to do in the next 20 or 90 minutes is to make you understand the term prolonged pre-trial detention by other common term examples or simple stories that will connect you. Good enough, we have the students, we have professionals, so we have to go across for everyone to understand. The next will be to highlight some of the causes. We cannot state all because it's research driven. If you were to do your own research, you could have additional causes, but we will list some of the causes of prolonged pre-trial detention. And then the same thing, we will state the effects. There will be some of the effects of prolonged pre-trial detention on our justice system. So from my own viewpoint again, if you keep someone in custody, custody means restriction, in short, and not giving that person trial for a long period, that amounts to prolonged detention or prolonged pre-trial detention. And in most times, that amount of sense out to violate a person's right. There are certain rights that you have even if you are accused by state authorities and institutions. You have the right to a fair trial. You have the right to be presumed innocent until the contrary is established. So we said in this presentation that when you keep someone for a long time without hearing or judging this person, you violate his rights, and that is the equivalent of what we are calling prolonged pre-trial detention. We have many laws in this country where our laws are in order, and the first law in this country is the Constitution of our country. The Constitution in Chapter 3, Article 21F provides, quote, every person arrested or detained shall be formally charged and presented before a court of competent jurisdiction within 48 hours. Should a court determine the existence of a prima facie case against the accused, it shall issue a formal writ of arrest setting out the charge or the charges, and shall provide for a speedy trial. There shall be no preventive detention, unquote. And what it means also clearly is that if you accuse me for damaging someone's property, and the law enforcement officer will call that criminal mischief, and you took me to the police depot in 48 hours, setting, I should be formally charged. Anything beyond that amounts to a violation of my right, except what the law will call manifest necessity, and that would be maybe the 48-hour ended on a holiday, ended on a Sunday, or maybe it's a sexual offense related issue, and you're still waiting for the medical report. You may justify that. Anything outside of that we know it amounts to violation. But as though the Constitution is not enough to solve this issue, we also have other laws. And one of those laws, the Criminal Procedure Law of Liberia, the one we use to judge criminal cases, precisely in chapter 18 forbids prolonged pretrial detention. That instrument in chapter 18, subsection 18.1, .2, and .3 provides that a defendant is entitled to dismissal of a proceeding for failure to proceed. So at times you hear the lawyer using the big words, sometimes Councilor Bien is where he or he is around. Councilor Bien, moreover, and others will say the government not prosecute the case. It means the government go to court and say the person who bring a complaint, we can't receive them, the person nowhere to be found, we can't keep them in jail for 10 years, we drop the case or the issue against him. Otherwise, your lawyer as an accused, who is called the defense counsel or some say public defender, can move the court in keeping with the same 18.2 for failure to proceed and say the law in this country says that in 2 terms, a term of court in our country, especially the cycle code, is 3 months. So it means in 6 months you should have somebody officially or formally indicted. How come you accuse someone for rape? You accuse someone for armed robbery, and the man is at the prison for 5 years without indictment. These are living evidence and stories. Correction officers here can attest to it. How do you accuse somebody? We condemn certain actions, but how then we hold on to people for such long period, and there's no indictment? The person has not seen the road to court. The person is only behind bars. These are the issues that amount to prolonged pre-trial detention. The last point I want to stop here in terms of law comes from the rules for the magistrate and the traffic court. As you are aware, the first court of instance in our country is the magisterial court. So all issues from the police will go to the magisterial court. From the court, if the issue is above the jurisdiction of that court, it will follow proceed to the circuit. The rules of court, particularly rule number 9, provides that all criminal issues shall be tried within 30 days. And for civil issue, no more than 2 weeks. But you check what the realities are, you still get to know that you have people in detention, people in custody, and they were taken to the prison maybe 2-3 years for issues before magisterial court. And those are all the different accounts we can put together to help you define or get to know what prolonged pretrial detention is. The same rules of court, the magistrate court rule number 19 says for 10 consecutive days, if the person is behind bar without assignment, without schedule to go to court, the person is entitled to jail delivery. Jail delivery means you give him to someone, you will take him from wherever he is, and that person will bring him when you are serious for your case. But we find the opposite today in our country. The topic you assign to us, prolonged pretrial detention, like prison overcrowding, are the twin challenges we have in prison reform. The 2 big problems we have at the Bureau of Corrections and Rehabilitation are the 2 issues we call prolonged pretrial detention and prison overcrowding. If you can help us, if the government can help us and address those 2 issues, trust me, that we say in our library where our problem will be solved. How do I convince you on this? Every week, on Thursday, we do publication of our weekly statistics for our inmates records nationwide. So tomorrow we should have another one updated Last Thursday was the 26th, and the record from the 26th of November revealed the total inmate population of 3,697 across all the 16 prison facilities in Liberia. Further into that number of 3,697 in safe custody, we have 2,469 in pretrial detention. 2,469. Those who are smart in mathematics will agree with me that the percent, if I ask the question, what percent of 3,697 is 2,469, your brilliant answer will be 66.7%. That is disastrous for us as a country. To have 66.7% as of last week Thursday of all those in prison to be people who are in pre-trial detention is a human rights issue that should meet our attention. It means from that record also that we have only 1,228 persons who are convicted. And that is how it's supposed to be. People in prison should honestly be convinced that when to court, the court say you wrong, and because the court has the leverage to say fine or imprisonment, if you fall in the bracket of imprisonment, they send you to the prison, then we are supposed to rehabilitate you. We are not supposed to take all the time and attention and resources on pre-trial detainees. So with this, and over time, our report, our records, and everything show that on the average, your country has 65% of our inmates population in pre-trial detention. It has to be addressed by us. Causes of prolonged pre-trial detention. We say prolonged instead of saying just pre-trial detention because it's just beyond the ordinary. 3 months ago, we had a report that was done for the newly commissioned Chief Justice. Just for Liberia Central Prison alone, we had a report of almost 525 persons who have been in prison from 2020 up to now in pre-trial detention. And the U.S. Embassy will call you, other rights and development partners will call you. How do you address that? No justification. In our record, we have 190 persons accused of rape since 2020 up to now. You brought a complaint, you don't go to court to help the police, to help the prosecutors to have the matter tried. And those people are just at Liberia Central Prison. We have a total of about 215 persons accused of armed robbery. We don't support the commission of crimes because crimes are committed against the state. That's why on the paper they say the Republic of Liberia by and truth. You feel the action, you are just the witness of the state. But for God's sake, while we condemn the act, we can also allow you to just dash your complaint, run away, and you say the man already in jail. So what are some of the causes? Generally, the causes of pretrial detention usually goes to the weakness in our system of justice, court delays, lack of access to bail, adequate legal safeguards. How do we explain them one after another? Court delays, for example. The first judicial circuit of Mosorado. Sorry, maybe the students, you don't understand that criminal code A, B, C, D, and E are Temple of Justice. These courts are very, very busy, especially Code A, Code D, and Code E. If they accuse someone of sexual offense, that Code E can hear you. If they accuse someone for armed robbery, you go to Code D. And then Code A can handle all the other big capital offenses, including kidnapping, murder, etc. So those courts are very, very basic. But you have just one judge sitting in a court. We just appointed a judge at criminal code E because the law provides for 2. For all this while, we have had one person who's supposed to hear more than 500 accused at Moravia Central Prison alone. How possible does it work? And the term of court is actually 3 months, but technically the term of court goes for 62 days. 62 days, technically, lawyers can explain that better. 10 days before, or for the 2 days during sitting, 10 days after. 62. Then as a circuit judge, I rather big car, go home and rest. And lead a very program with them. So at one conversation, our development partners were asking us, why if we add up the number of judges? I have gone to different parts of this country where I see the imbalance between court actors. If you have one clerk employed by the judiciary and 3 magistrates, what do you expect that clerk want to do to the 3 magistrates? He will go to the head magistrate who is stepping there in, and the other 2 associates will abandon them. But as someone part also, you don't expect to be tapping on the territorial that God refused to change from territorial history. So he will be bossing, he cannot without territorial. When he feels he's stepping there, he run away on the road to go find something to eat. So the prison is having 50 persons from that court alone. And there is one clerk who's supposed to tell for 3 magistrates. That forms part of court delays and the backlogs issue. Limited access to bail. Some of our laws, we read them with sentiments, and it's bad for us as a country. Some of even the issues we tend to be sexual offenses are issues ordinarily that you can have with people having sufficient surety. But if you read the law and say no, once it's sexual offense, no bail. Once it's drug related, no bail. So the man who is in need of care and go and catch him with small rap. Why it's true that we condemn it, but you say no bail. When you read laws in that form, you also create more problems. And the Supreme Law in this country says all grounds are available, except for capital offenses, and the statute will say where proof is evident, where presumption is great. The third point on the causes of prolonged pretrial detention has to do with weak legal representation. If your lawyer is weak and you are accused, you will stay long in prison. If you have a strong lawyer who knows the law, he will shape the system. That's where the ordinary man says lawyers die, they don't go to heaven. No, it's not what you think. It's that the person is on top of his game. If I know that the man is supposed to be trying 30 days and he's at the prison for 3 months, I know with him and said that even though he did the act, I will go for dismissal for failure to proceed. That's just the procedure. But then we have a country where the Supreme Court took a recent decision to take all public defenders from magisterial court, the first court of instance. So when they accuse you, you go there, no government paid lawyer is in the court. If you don't have money to spend on private lawyer, they will carry you straight to the prison. And the old man can say they carry you straight in the law to the prison. So it forms part of the reason why we have this problem called prolonged pretrial detention. I appeal to my statistician to please give me small time because I've already utilized my 20 minutes according to what we're almost to the end. The next point that is key for us to know is that of poor case management. Poor case management, including the issue of evidence gathering, including the availability of witnesses. How do we explain this? My people in this country, when you carry a matter to court, you have a responsibility to superintend the case. Superintend the case, that big word means you will come to court. It means sometimes you will put hand in your pocket and you will spend something for the case. But the crutches will be too wet between the law enforcement agency and the court. And everybody get that right. Sometimes we too at the Ministry of Justice chose to be unreasonable. The girl does not have the means to even get on motor back. People in the community pay her way to come to the police. And you ask her to give 2005 to register her complaint against her boyfriend, who just was beating her and she already 2 months pregnant. So again, maybe the community will rally together and give her that money. She gives it to the police. The police say, okay, the magistrate charge is done. Bring $2,000 so we can send the officer to the court. And at 4-5, then you go to the court. The city solicitor say you need to give me $50 US. By law, you are not supposed to pay a dime for criminal case. But because the system is not doing what's supposed to be done, police are supposed to have motorbike to follow behind you free. They're supposed to have fee, but we don't give them the support. So the corruption starts from that point. And when the woman hears from the court actor, the city solicitor, that she has to give $50, she said, "Maybe my whole call." Then she will never return. Then the magistrate will sign a commitment for that boyfriend, send him to Warrior Central Prison, Jute, Jerome, and others will just be there talking to him. Who's in the money, my man? Jerome. That goes on to have the same detention as a problem. We appeal to you, even though sometimes people can be unreasonable, but please come to the court. Sometimes just to check on your case, because you don't know the procedures in the law. When one defense counsel you say it goes against you, then you go in the community and say no justice for the poor. The men give money, they free the men because your case is supposed to be heard in a period and you didn't show up. The last point I noted for our causes of prolonged pretrial detention has to do with corruption and abuse of power. Corruption and abuse of power. The law for bail. Bail is money or property or a guarantee you gave to the court that somebody who is accused will come day to day when there's trial. That is the security you give. But the different research done in this country proved that we have had corruption and abuse of power associated with the granting of bail in our justice system. There's something you can use property evaluation for. That means I have a property, I pay tax for it. So if the issue you accuse me for is less than my property value, I can use my property document. And say, don't keep me in jail or in prison. Let me be free. If I run away, just use my property to settle the matter. There could be theft-related issue or mischief. I could do an insurance bond. I'm insured by an entity, and that institution can cover whatever within the policy with me. Or I got plenty of money, so I do cash bond. But the last step of bond that the law provides for personal recognizance in the criminal procedure law 13.5 is your own self. The man that district commissioner, you say the man cost him by law, so the man should get you $100 US as a magistrate or else you put him in prison. District commissioner. You think district commissioner can run away from his own district? Where he's not more than a small president? And the law calls that personal reconnaissance. The man can be admitted to build through personal reconnaissance. But it's alleged, I don't want to say it's true, it's alleged that some of us justice actors, especially magistrates, will insist on certain amount. If I say $100 US for personal reconnaissance, you bring it, you go in behind bars. Then I calculate my 100 times 10 cases. Every day I go with 1 G. So everybody will be magistrate. Everybody will be magistrate. And 10 persons you brought before me, just for one land case, I tell them bulk-ish. Or I say bulk heft. If I know that government will start to break you down. So from bulk heft, we ended at bulk. Then Bob times 10, 1G, and that 1G can carry me along with abuse of power. And that also supports prolonged pretrial detention. The effects of prolonged pretrial detention, or generally the prolonged pretrial detention, have severe consequences on us. It undermines justice, it harms individual lives, it weakens trust in our own legal system. How we put them, firstly, it amounts to a violation of right. The law says everybody accused should be having the right to speedy trial. Speedy trial means fast trial. Of that is a violation. The law says every accused person should be presumed innocent. Well, if you put a man in jail for 4 years for armed robbery, and after 4 years, the man lawyer pleaded his case for dismissal and failure to proceed, and that man is coming out. But you know very well that this man didn't commit armed robbery. You have an issue. I will do a practical and sorry, it has no relationship with the bank issue. But this guy suffered behind a young lady. To his surprise and dismay, someone else in the community was actually his mate. And he caught the both of them at one point in time. He took his slipper and said, I will beat you if you run. Then the girl and her other boyfriend now made all the story to the police that the man had knife. And under the armed robbery law, anything that can kill is tantamount to have a charge for armed robbery. So they say the man wanted to kill him, had knife. He threatened him with killing his mate and his girlfriend. Then that man go to jail for 5 years in pre-trial detention. When she feel guilty, she can't say you're free, you can't get case. The law that says the man should be presumed innocent has been abused and violated. Where is the innocence? What do you give to him after keeping him for the wrong charge all those years? The issue of prison overcrowding is an effect of prolonged pretrial detention. If you have people kept for too long without trial, you make the prison to be small for the number of persons who should go there. Social harm is also a problem. And how do I explain it? Somebody is the head of a family. He's feeding several mobs every day. Some people, God bless them, I know how they can do it, but they get 15 to 20 human beings they can feed every day. And that kind of man went on his people farm to go brush. You collected him, you say trespass, criminal trespass. The man say, my pa left this player, he gave us travel certificate. You say no. The minister bought that land already, and you're good, and you're not supposed to be there. That man, you get him to prison, 10 different wolf clothes for the day, they can't eat. That amounts to social harm. And that's also how you find people from those families vulnerable in the street and communities. The next one is that we have erosion of trust. The community people lose faith in our justice system when we have detention prolonged without trial. This is wrong. Justice is for all, and it should mean for all. We also have high conviction rate as an effect of prolonged pretrial detention. How do we break it down? Sometimes the guards are broken. The correctional officers know it because they live with it. You know what happened? Defendants of armed robbery, when you keep them too long, just because the word armed robbery is bad, then people can go whisper and say, just go in the court, you say guilty. Because if you say you're guilty now, you already have to stay 6 years in pretrial detention. If the court sentence you for 10 years, you get only 3 more to go. That is also a violation under our human rights standards and practice. They are wrong. We should address it as part of our national problems. Until otherwise, we still have a long road to go. We want to say thank you for listening as we look forward to your question on the
And so that was the voice of Attorney Honorable Nutella, Assistant Minister for Rehabilitation of Bureau of Correction at the Ministry of Justice.
Wow. Let's give it out again for the minister. Very much. Please have a seat. When he was talking about the ministry, I heard somebody say they're coming to go to law school. Now who said that one? They're coming to go to law school, so they'll be borrowing for $1,000 every day. Indeed, we have a serious problem. You listen to the stats, you listen to the conditions, you listen to, it's indeed a serious problem, truly a serious problem. 66.7% pre-trial detainees across this country, and with no solution in sight, we need to do something about it. And that is why this conference is all about, to provoke us to action, so that we'll come up, we'll leave from here with some resolutions that will drive change and improve some of these conditions. Honorable Minister, thank you. Thank you. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, we saved the deuce for the last. The deuce for the last. What are some of our rights under the law when it comes to the court processes? A lot of us don't even know. And so a lot of things happen to us because we don't know our rights. And so this young lawyer is going to lead us for the next few minutes on basic human rights, our rights as Liberians, under our banner, under the Constitution, under the flag. What are our rights? What is justice? And how are we supposed to go through the court processes, like you heard the minister say? Without much ado, please join me. Let's receive Councillor N.G. Moba. Councillor N.G. Moba, who goes to the Supreme Court. So 3 cases. Councillor, you're welcome. Thank you. And you can see he already started growing the councillor hair. I was just saying to him today, Councillor, it's good to see you. Thank you, your people. Please.
Yeah. Thank you, Peter Jose. Thank you so much. Reverend, I want to say a big thanks to John Healy, to our Lord Bishop, Reverend Peter G. Bambo, and the members of the Lutheran Church in Liberia for organizing this program. It's an honor to be selected as a panelist for this program. And I can say that the topic that have been selected today are very good topic, and it means a lot to us. I want to say thank you to the fellow panelists for the deliberation. The Honorable Minister, I say thank you. When the Honorable Minister was talking, I was like, we're doing it. Minister, thank you so much. I was told to speak on the topic human rights, justice, and the court. But I would ask that you please allow me to very authority to talk about it, to adjust the topic and speak on human rights, justice, and the court, the Liberian perspective, because it's quite a Liberia. First of all, I want to say, I bring greeting from my family and from the Nova part of the office where I am. Very unusual going on. My wife can provide support.
Okay.
Yeah, so I want to introduce my wife, Ms. With the topic on hand, human rights, justice, and the court, And if we want to do a discussion on these, you will know that each of them, the word justice, the word court, and the phrase human right can be discussed separately, and it will mean a lot. It will take a long time. Now, we are being given the task to discuss them holistically. When we go through, I will ask that we break them down, slowly discuss human right with what is justice, and then the court, and then we combine them and move forward. The generally accepted definition of human rights says that human rights are universal and inalienable and fundamental rights that every person is entitled to, regardless of their race, their sex, their nationality, or their status. Key, inalienable, something like get detached from you, is part of you. Is that word that is with you and for you. You can't separate that word from you. Follow definition says, a very simple one, say that human rights are moral principles that define and protect human dignity. So we go back when the keynote speaker talked about lecturing, he kept emphasizing on dignity, dignity. To ensure the human rights, you have to ensure that the rights entitled to the person. Some are your right to life, your right to pursuit of happiness, freedom, your right to speech, your right to property are with you. They can be separated. And if anybody or the court or the republic is taking away some of those rights from you because of whatever thing, your dignity should be preserved in every aspect. That's a key problem of human rights. How do we deal with the dignity of the person while protecting that right? When we quote that, sir, we say, what is simple form to say human rights are universal, inalienable, and fundamental rights of every person that serves to provide and protect the dignity of a person. Then we go to justice. So what is justice? See, in the simplest form, justice is the proper administration of the law to ensure that everyone under the law are fairly and equitably treated. The proper administration of the law. Not the administration of policy of the person presiding or the will of the republic or the government or of the law. How do you administer the law to make sure every person in the country are fairly and equitably treated? When you can do that, you are administering justice. And there will be a lot of definition because I'm trying to find the simplest one as we go forward. So in contemporary legal system, justice involves the fair application of laws to ensure that individuals are fairly treated and equally given their treatment so that wrongs are redressed. You'll be fairly treated. It will be equitable to the system provided to another person, but if there's a wrong, that wrong needs to be addressed and adjusted itself. Key phrase again, individuals are treated fairly equally and then wrongs are addressed. As such, justice encompasses the principle of moral rightness, equality, and the protection of individual rights. So for today's lecture, let me say that justice also serves to protect the individual and collective rights of people. It serves to protect the right of individual and also the right of people. Then that person here is in the play of red stops, another person right. You have all the rights for you. As you enjoy the rights you have, your enjoyment of right cannot interfere with the enjoyment of another person's right. So you all have to stop. And then another person begins in the protection of their right. If we, after defining human rights and then justice, will combine the two, we will get the application that human rights and justice is where the laws are applied to ensure that individuals are treated equally, fairly, and that wrongs are redressed while ensuring the dignity of every individual. I keep emphasizing some of the words so that when we go ahead and I'm doing some explanation, you can get the full picture of what we are emphasizing these words. So then we say, what is the role of the courts in the protection and the enforcement of justice and human rights? Again, simply put, the court, and I will say the judiciary, play a pivotal role in upholding and protecting the rights of individuals within the society. They protect the right. As such, the judiciary is the guardian of justice, and they ensure that the law, remember we're talking about justice, we say the application of the laws of the country. Now the judiciary ensures that the law of the country are applied fairly and equitably. As a part of it, many functions, the court not only interprets and enforces the law, but it also safeguards the fundamental liberties, the fundamental rights and freedom that are essential for the democratic society of the country. What then does the law say about the rights of human? How can the court apply these laws to ensure that justice is served and all of its citizens are protected? Remember we say human right ensures that everyone is treated equally, fairly, and with dignity. Justice is the application of the law, right? On every person fairly, and then the court uses the law to render judgment. So then we come, since everything is about the law, then what does the law say about our rights? If you go back to some of the things the Honorable Minister was talking, and if we take a holistic look, you'll realize that Liberia is unique. Some of the changes that happened one time in the law, say for instance, go back to America, when we're doing the 1986 constitution, we just put everything there. In America, say for instance, what they call it Miranda right, before you come into prison, before you arrest me, you should read my right. You should say this and that, you are entitled to this. It is in our Constitution. And how does the Constitution protect our right? Our keynote speaker of constitutional lawyer will tell you that if you check the structure of the Constitution, you will realize that the Constitution is key on our right. The first chapter of the Constitution is speak about the country. Liberia is a sovereign nation, we are there, right? The first chapter. The second chapter talks about the principles of the country. The national principle, the national value, what we do. So the Constitution identifies the country, the authority of the country, what the country is supposed to do. They go to chapter 3, the rights. It does not go in chapter 3 to the executive. It does not go to the legislature, it does not go to the judiciary. It says the fundamental rights. And now you know that the Constitution is not playing. We put the rights of our people. What's the first thing? Chapter 3 of the 1986 Constitution begins in Article 11A. It says all persons are born equally free and independent and have certain natural, inherent, and inalienable rights. You might always talk about the right that can be and not taken away from you. And among which are the right of enjoying and defending your life and your liberty. The right to enjoy, the right to defend. It's in the Constitution. The right of pursuing and maintaining the security of the person and of acquiring, possessing, and protecting your property. For the property is subject to the qualification in the Constitution. And that qualification says that only Liberian can own property in Liberia as of now. So everybody's in Liberia, but the qualification for owning property says only Liberian. 11B says all persons, irrespective of your race, your background, whatever, you are entitled to all fundamental any human rights in Liberia. You are entitled to it. It's not that sometimes people say, or then you hear the government saying, we give people right, people want business. No, we are entitled to that Well, it's not the government to say we give it to you. No, the Constitution provides that. Three, all persons are equal before the law and are therefore entitled to equal protection of the law. And Article 16 says no person should be subject to the interference of his privacy or person, your family, your home, or community, except by order of a court of competent jurisdiction. Article 20, very important. It says no person shall be deprived of life, liberty, security of your person, your property, your privilege, except as of the outcome of a hearing judgment.